This week is the festival of Chanukah, and this Shabbat, Parshat Vayeshev, is Shabbat Chanukah. Chanukah is a magnificent festival, 8 days long, during which on each of the nights we light the menorah. We light first one light, and then the second night two, and so forth, until the menorah is full and we have 8 lights. We all know the story very well, that when the Greeks were in control of the land of Israel and they persecuted the Jewish people, a small band of guerrilla fighters, Kohanim from the family of the Hashmonaim, rose up against the Greeks and were able to be victorious against them. And they defeated them. It was the 25th of Kislev. They came into the temple. The temple had been defiled and it had been broken and it was in a bad state, and they wanted to immediately start to do the temple service. And of course, one of the aspects of the temple service was to light the 7-branch menorah, candelabra, every single night. But they needed special olive oil for this. Shemen Zayit Zach. It had to be the absolute best quality olive oil. And they only had one flask. They only could find one flask which had enough for one night. There was a lot of oil that was needed to burn through the night, and it would take at least another week in order to produce more oil of the same quality. And they lit, as we know, they lit the menorah, and it continued to remain alight for 8 days until they were able to produce more olive oil. And the Beit Yosef, Rav Yosef Karo, the author of the Code of Jewish Law, asked a very famous question. He says, why should Chanukah be 8 days? It should just be 7 days. Because the miracle only happened for 7 days. The first day, they had enough oil to light the menorah. Then, on the second day, that's when the miracle became apparent. But the first day, they had enough oil. So why is Chanukah 8 days? This is a famous question. In fact, there was a rabbi in New York several decades ago who wrote a book called Ner Lamea, which means a candle for 100, in which he gave 100 different answers to this question. It's a very famous question. There are those who want to suggest that the first day we celebrate not really because of the miracle of the oil, but because of the fact that the Hashmonaim were able to defeat the Greeks. It was Rabim biyad ma'atim, as we say in our prayers, the many into the hands of the few. The Greeks were massive, their army was powerful, and yet they were handed over into the hands of a few. It was a miracle victory, in the same way that we celebrate Purim, where we defeated all of the host of Haman. Others want to suggest that the first day is to celebrate the actual fact that we found the oil, that it hadn't been destroyed. Everything else the Greeks had defiled. There are many different answers. And I once saw a beautiful idea. And that idea is as follows. The Hashmonaim now had a choice. What are we going to do? If we light the menorah now, if we put all of the oil into the menorah, and it's going to burn tonight, well, tomorrow we're not going to be able to do the mitzvah. And probably the next day, and probably the next day, it's going to take us a week until we are able to get new oil and to light the menorah properly. So maybe we should divide it up into 8 parts, or maybe we should wait another day. And they excused and they set aside all cheshbonot, all calculations, all considerations, and they did the mitzvah now, even though they did not know what tomorrow would bring. And that is the miracle of Chanukah, and that is the miracle of the Jewish people. We have to do what we have to do now. Will there be a tomorrow? Will something happen the next day? We don't know. The Jewish people have gone through life where we've never really been sure about what's going to happen tomorrow. Where are we going to be tomorrow? Are they going to exile us? Are they going to persecute us? What's going to happen? Are they going to prevent us from keeping mitzvot? But all of those considerations are irrelevant. If we have a mitzvah to do now, we're going to do it now. And we leave it in Hashem's hands what will be tomorrow. And as soon as the Maccabim, as soon as the Hashmonaim did this was an act of incredible self-sacrifice to show that they have confidence and also to show that we're concerned about the here and now. We're going to do this mitzvah now, and Hashem will do the rest. And that's precisely what happened. Hashem did the rest. He produced a miracle. The menorah continued to be a light burning until they were able to then continue the mitzvah. So please God, this should give us strength and encouragement that just as the Maccabim were not concerned about tomorrow, but tomorrow came, so too we should do what we have to do today and leave Hashem to do the rest. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom and Chanukah Sameach.